So, hello everybody. So, this chapter is called Sexual Reproduction in Flowering Plants. And this particular map you're seeing is all the topics that will be covered in this chapter. I just divided them into sections since then it'll be easier for you guys to learn it section by section. And also, I'll teach it section by section. So, first, let's just quickly skim through whatever is given in this mind map so we'll get to know what is most likely going to be taught in this particular chapter. And then let's begin the first part. So in this chapter, the first part is about flower. There you'll actually learn about different roles of the flower. Normally, you guys know about the flower. You've learned that last year in morphology and all those chapters. So you know complete idea of everything. But here you're just gonna probably just recap that in this flower part. And next we have pre-fertilization. So since we're talking about the sexual reproduction in flowers, so we'll be learning about what's gonna happen before fertilization. So firstly you will learn about the structures, that is the androecium, gynoecium and androecium. You'll learn about stamen, microsporangium, microsporogenesis and pollen grain. And in gynoecium part, pistil, megasporangium, megasporogenesis and embryo sac. So I'm sure these words may be familiar to you because of learning last year on plant kingdom. But if you're not sure to, no worries, we'll be dealing with all of this in this chapter. And next we have about pollination. I'm sure this is something you've learned when you were young. And we'll be learning about the different types, self-pollination, cross-pollination. And self-pollination, there are two types, autogamy, jejunogamy. And cross-pollination, you have xenogamy, which is nothing but the cross-pollination itself. And different agents, where we have biotic agents and abiotic agents. In biotic agents, you have entomophily, which is nothing but insect pollinating, hydrophily, which is water pollination, and anemophily, which is spring pollination. And then in the same part, that is pre-fertilization, we'll be learning about outbreeding of devices, pollen pistil interaction, as well as artificial hybridization. And next, the next part after you finish pre-fertilization, we'll be learning about double fertilization, which is something that's unique to angiosperms. And then you have the next part, we'll be learning about post-fertilization, that is what happens after the fertilization of male and female gametes. So first you learn about endosperm development and then embryo development or embryogenesis and then how ovule turns to seed and here how ovary turns to fruit. And the last part of this chapter will be apomixis and polyembryony, which are completely new words, completely new topics that we'll be studying. And hence this is everything that's going to be there in this particular chapter. So let's quickly dive into the first part, that is the flower. Beginning with the most beautiful part of a plant, because I'm sure flower is something that will attract you a lot if you're seeing that in any plant or tree. So let's quickly dive into that. Firstly, flower. The whole point is angiosperms. Why are they called angiosperms? Because these are flowering plants. These are flowering plants, and hence you will call them angiosperms. And why? What is this flower? Why is it so important? Because this is the literal organ, we can call it as the literal sex organ, which has the male part or like the female part or like both. It's that important. And hence it has two parts, androecium, gynoecium. These are, and then we have corolla, and then you have calyx. So these are the whorls of flower. The androecium is nothing but stamen or the male part. And then you have gynoecium or the carpel, which is the female part, and then you have corolla. So once you see the flower, the petals is something that attracts you the most. But this is something that's very non-essential. These two are essential words, and petals and calyx are nothing but sepals. These are non-essential words. If they're called non-essential, it's not like they're of no use. Well, it actually means that they do not take part in reproduction, hence they are sterile. Whereas these two, these are fertile. So that's the thing about them. And something that's again unique in angiosperms or the flowering plants is something known as double fertilization and triple fusion. Fusion and triple fusion. Though these is also may sound like new words because I mean we've already learned about this in younger ages, I feel. But then this is kind of new things which we'll again learn in embryogenesis. And also there is syngamy. Let me just write it here itself. Flowering plants, they undergo sexual reproduction. How? Through something called syngamy. It's the fusion of male and female gametes. We'll always remember syngamy is different and fertilization is different. Like it's more like telling fertilization leads to syngamy. So there is a difference, so please do understand that. Okay, so we're done with the words. Non-essential words are also known as accessory words. That's something that we can include here. These are known as accessory words. They help in protection and all that stuff, but they do not take part in reproduction. And calyx and corolla. Corolla is something that helps during pollination. Because it attracts pollinator, whereas calyx it protects the flower in bud stage. Protects. So I'm sure we've known about all this. And another thing about our flower, if you ask me what a flower is, according to the morphology, I can tell it as modified and condensed shoot. And why do I tell it modified and why do I tell it condensed? Well, let me give you diagrammatic representation. So this is a shoot or some stem. Let's take it as shoot. And the tip of shoot is nothing but so the tip of the shoot is known as apical meristem. So this is apical meristem, right? Now what happens if there is a flower that's going to be aroused from this part? So what's going to happen is we have the same shoot in here, and that apical meristem is going to transform to floral meristem. It gets modified, and hence we use the word modified here. And why do we call it condensed? Let's see it. So if this is a shoot, you know that a typical shoot or a stem has nodes, internodes. So here we have a node, here we have another node, here we have another node, here we have another. So what exactly happens is in each node there's a part. Okay, sorry. Let me just draw this and then fill in that. So what exactly happens here is each node has a whole. Like, so here we learned about four different wholes, right? The thing is, each node will have one particular whole. I'm just using different colors so that it seems nice. Okay. So as you can see, I'm literally putting on different whorls on each particular node. So how is the final flower going to look like? Let me draw the final flower here in a bit more enlarged way. Okay. So now what you can notice is this is condensed, and hence we get the two words modified and condensed. Modified in the sense the apical meristem is getting modified to the floral meristem. Condensed in the sense is all the whorls which occur at different nodes of the stem are being condensed to form this particular flower. Okay. Now moving on. Now this is kind of a fun part because I'll literally ask you what flower is for you. For you as a person, what does flower symbolize to you? Well, the first thing this flower symbolizes is love. So we know that flower, it's also a symbol of grief, and they use it for ornamental purposes. It's like aesthetics. I'm sure we love aesthetic stuff. And also religious purposes, religious, cultural. So this is something that flowers symbolizes. Now, one kind of thing that will be important for all of us to know before we actually start this chapter is sporophyte and gametophyte. Sporophyte and gametophyte. Sporophyte is the diploid stage, whereas gametophyte is the haploid stage, and this is the gamete producing stage. And sporophyte is like the spore producing stage. I'm sure we've learned this in 11th, so there'll be lots new words to you. But if you're still kind of unsure of what actually these are, let me give you the diagrammatical representation that's kind of important. So let's put 2n in here. 2n instance, it's sporophytic stage. So this is actually the alternation of generation that we learned about. So let's start anywhere from the cycle. Let's start from here, gametes. So what causes the formation of gametes? Spores. Spores. How? Because they undergo mitosis and hence form gametophyte and hence give gametes. So in this particular chapter, you will learn that as microspores undergoing mitosis to give gametophyte, which is nothing but the pollen grain, and that will give the gametes, which is nothing but the male gamete, which the pollen tube will carry. And what next happens in the cycle once gametes are formed? Zygote is formed, and that will undergo mitosis. You get sporophyte, and this will undergo meiosis to give spores. So this is nothing but the alternation of generation. This is the gametophytic stage and this is the sporophyte.